There are seasons in a person's life when God seems strangely silent, when prayers feel as though they strike the ceiling and fall back unanswered, when effort yields little reward and hope feels like a habit one maintains out of discipline rather than delight. In such seasons, the heart is tempted to believe that nothing of importance is happening, that time is being squandered, that heaven has misplaced the address. Yet it is precisely in these quiet, unremarkable stretches that God often does his most significant work. For the divine preparation of a soul rarely resembles a parade. It more often looks like waiting, like obscurity, like the slow shaping of something meant to bear great weight later on. We are inclined to think of blessing as sudden light without considering the eyes that must be trained to endure it. A person who has lived long in darkness may be blinded by brilliance if it arrives without warning. And so God, who is both generous and wise, frequently prepares his children by teaching them to see in the dimness first. He stretches patience, humbles pride, refines motives, and loosens our grip on outcomes we once thought essential. What feels like delay is often mercy in disguise, for an unprepared soul could easily waste or even be crushed by the very miracle it so eagerly desires. There is a peculiar paradox in the way God works. He prepares us for abundance by first acquainting us with lack, and he readies us for joy by walking us through sorrow. This is not cruelty but craftsmanship. Just as a master builder tests the strength of a foundation before raising a towering structure upon it, so God tests the inner life before releasing outer blessings. The waiting is not empty, it is full of unseen activity. The silence is not abandonment, it is instruction delivered in a language deeper than words. Many people assume that if God were truly preparing them for something great, they would feel inspired every day, full of confidence and certainty. Yet preparation often feels like the opposite. It feels like being stripped of familiar supports, like being forced to rely on faith rather than feeling. God has a way of removing crutches we did not know we were leaning on. He does this not to weaken us, but to teach us to walk with him rather than with substitutes. When the miracle finally arrives, it must find a heart anchored in God himself, not merely in the gifts he provides. Unexpected miracles, by their very nature, arrive without fitting neatly into our plans. If we could predict them, they would no longer be miracles but calculations. God delights in surprising his children, not to confuse them, but to remind them that he is not bound by their assumptions. We tend to imagine blessing as the logical next step after sufficient effort, yet God often interrupts the expected sequence. He brings provision from unlikely places, answers prayers in unfamiliar forms, and opens doors we had not even thought to knock upon. In doing so, he gently dismantles our illusion of control and invites us into wonder. Consider how often the greatest transformations begin with what seems like loss. A door closes, a relationship ends, a dream collapses, and the heart concludes that it has reached an unfortunate ending. But God, who sees the entire story at once, knows that endings are frequently disguised beginnings. The soil must be broken before seeds can grow. The pruning knife must cut before the vine can bear more fruit. What appears to be destruction may in fact be preparation for increase. It is also worth noting that God prepares us not only externally but internally. He works upon our character with patient persistence. He teaches us humility so that blessing will not turn into arrogance. He teaches us gratitude so that abundance will not become entitlement. He teaches us compassion so that success will not make us indifferent to the struggles of others. Without these inner adjustments, a big blessing could become a subtle curse, drawing us away from God rather than nearer to him. There are moments when God allows us to feel forgotten, though we are never forsaken. This feeling is not evidence of neglect but of trust. A parent does not constantly hover over a child who has learned to walk. Distance can be a sign of confidence in the child's growth. In the same way, God sometimes steps back, not because he has lost interest, but because he is allowing faith to mature. That depends solely on visible reassurance remains fragile. Faith that survives silence becomes resilient. Unexpected miracles often arrive quietly before they announce themselves loudly. A conversation that seems ordinary a decision that feels small, a delay that reroutes our path. These are the threads God weaves into something larger than we can presently see. We tend to look for dramatic signs while overlooking subtle shifts, yet God frequently hides the extraordinary within the ordinary. Only in hindsight do we realize that what we once dismissed as insignificant was actually pivotal. It is important, too, to recognize that preparation is rarely comfortable. Growth stretches us, and stretching can be painful. God challenges our assumptions, confronts our fears, and exposes our misplaced trust. He invites us to surrender not only our sins but also our plans, not only our weaknesses but also our strengths. This surrender creates space for God to act in ways we could never orchestrate ourselves. The miracle that comes later will often rest upon the surrender that came earlier. One of the greatest dangers during seasons of preparation is discouragement. The enemy of the soul whispers that nothing will change, that effort is pointless, that hope is foolish. Yet discouragement thrives on partial information. It judges the story from the middle rather than from the end. God, however, is the author who knows exactly where the narrative is heading. When he seems slow, it is not because he is uncertain, but because he is thorough. We often pray for change without realizing that change begins with us. We ask God to alter circumstances while he is intent on transforming character. The miracle we seek outwardly may require an inward miracle first, and so God works patiently, shaping our responses, deepening our faith, enlarging our capacity to receive what he intends to give. When the blessing finally arrives, it will not merely change our situation, it will find us changed as well. There is also a communal dimension to God's preparation. Our lives intersect with others in ways we cannot fully predict. God aligns people, timing, and circumstances with remarkable precision. Someone else's obedience may be linked to our miracle, just as our obedience may be linked to someone else's breakthrough. This interconnectedness means that waiting is not wasted. It is part of a larger tapestry God is weaving, thread by thread, across lives and generations. Unexpected miracles remind us that God is not limited by probability. What seems impossible to us is often merely inconvenient to him. He operates beyond human calculations, beyond statistics and trends. When he acts, he does so in a way that leaves no doubt about the "so-you." C.E. This is why preparation matters so deeply. A prepared heart recognizes the hand of God in the miracle and responds with worship rather than pride. It is easy to romanticize miracles and forget that they often come with responsibility. A big blessing brings new challenges, new expectations, new tests. God prepares us not only to receive the miracle, but to steward it well. He teaches us faithfulness in small things, so that we may be entrusted with greater things. If we overlook this process, we may find ourselves overwhelmed by what we once begged for. There are times when God prepares us by leading us away from paths we thought were essential. He closes doors we were determined to walk through, not to frustrate us, but to protect us. Later, when we look back, we may see that those closed doors saved us from harm or distraction. The miracle God has planned often requires a different route than the one we would have chosen ourselves. In the midst of preparation, prayer changes. It becomes less about demanding outcomes and more about seeking alignment. We begin to ask not only for blessings but for wisdom, not only for relief but for understanding. This shift is itself evidence of growth. A heart that trusts God's timing is learning to rest even before the answer arrives. Such rest is not passivity but confidence grounded in relationship. Unexpected miracles also tend to expose the limits of our imagination. We ask God to work within the boundaries of what we can envisage, while he delights in exceeding them. The preparation phase stretches our vision, teaching us to expect more from God than we expect from ourselves. It trains us to hope boldly without clinging tightly to specific outcomes. Sometimes God prepares us by allowing repeated disappointments, not to harden us, but to purify our hope. Hope that survives disappointment becomes anchored not in circumstances but in God's character. When the miracle finally comes, it does not replace our faith, it confirms it. We realize that God was faithful all along, even when we could not see the evidence. There is a quiet courage that develops during seasons of preparation. It is the courage to continue doing what is right without immediate reward, to continue loving without guaranteed return, to continue trusting without visible proof. This courage is not loud or dramatic, but it is strong. It forms the backbone of a life capable of carrying great blessing without collapsing under its weight. As God prepares us, He often invites us to let go of comparisons. Looking at others' timelines can breed impatience and resentment. Yet God's work in each life is uniquely tailored. What comes quickly to one may come slowly to another, not because of favoritism, but because of purpose. Preparation is personal, and miracles arrive precisely when the person receiving them is ready. There is a mystery in all of this that resists tidy explanation. God does not reveal every reason, nor does He outline every step in advance. He asks for trust, not full comprehension. This can be unsettling for minds that crave certainty, yet it is also liberating. It frees us from the burden of needing to control what was never ours to manage in the first place. If you find yourself in a season where nothing seems to be happening, it may be that everything important is happening beneath the surface. Roots grow in darkness before trees rise into the light. God may be strengthening you in ways that will soon become evident. The miracle you are waiting for may already be on its way, shaped by countless small obediences, quiet prayers, and unseen acts of faith. And so the invitation in this season is not to despair, but to remain attentive, to live faithfully in the present moment, trusting that God is both near and active, even when His work is hidden. To believe that preparation is not punishment, and that delay is not denial. For the God who prepares His children so carefully is not careless with His miracles, and when the moment arrives, when preparation meets purpose, when the unseen work gives way to visible grace, the blessing will not only arrive, it will arrive in a way that reveals why every step leading up to it mattered, and why the path you walked, though winding and often unclear, was precisely the one required for what is about to unfold next, as the story continues to move forward with a quiet certainty that something far greater than what you have known so far is drawing nearer, Eve. Now, shaping itself within the ordinary moments of your days, waiting for the appointed time to be revealed, bar in ways that will one day seem obvious, though at present they remain concealed beneath the surface of routine and repetition. There is a strange kindness in the way God hides His greatest works within the familiar rhythms of daily life, as though He wishes to train our eyes to recognize holiness, even when it does not announce itself with thunder. We look for the extraordinary and miss the sacredness of perseverance. Yet perseverance is often the soil from which miracles spring. Each day you rise and choose faith over fear, obedience over ease, trust over control. You are participating in a preparation far larger than you realize. God's preparation often involves teaching us how to wait without growing bitter. Waiting, when done poorly, hardens the heart. When done well, it deepens it. There is a kind of waiting that corrodes hope and another that refines it. The difference lies not in the length of the delay, but in the posture of the soul. God invites us into the latter, into a waiting that listens, that learns, that allows itself to be shaped rather than soured. In such waiting, even unanswered prayers become instruments of grace, tuning the heart to hear God more clearly. It is tempting to assume that preparation ends the moment blessing arrives, but in truth, preparation and fulfillment often overlap. God continues to shape us even as He gives to us. The mirror. Clay itself becomes part of the training, teaching us dependence in new forms. For dependence does not vanish with provision, it merely changes its expression. We learn to rely on God not only for what we lack, but for the wisdom to manage what we now possess. There are moments when God prepares us by confronting our false images of Him. We may imagine Him as hurried, reactive, or bound by our urgency. Yet preparation reveals a God who is deliberate, unflustered, and deeply attentive to timing. He is not late, nor is he early, he is precise. This precision can be difficult to accept when we are eager for resolution, but it is precisely this care that ensures the blessing will arrive at the right moment, not merely the moment we would have chosen. Unexpected miracles often require us to revise our understanding of what we truly need. We may pray for relief while God intends restoration, or for escape while God plans transformation. In preparation, God gently exposes the difference between what we want and what will actually heal us. He does not despise our desires, but he refines them, aligning them with his greater purposes. When the miracle comes, it often answers a deeper prayer than the one we consciously voiced. God also prepares us by teaching us to forgive. Unforgiveness is a weight that limits our capacity to receive joy. Carrying old wounds into a new season can distort even the brightest blessings. And so God invites us, sometimes repeatedly, to release what we woo, rather hold on to. Forgiveness does not deny pain. It refuses to let pain have the final word. In learning to forgive, we make room for grace to move freely within us. There is a humility that grows during preparation, a quiet awareness of our own limitations. We begin to see how often we mistook our strength for sufficiency. God does not expose these limits to shame us, but to free us from unrealistic expectations of ourselves. When we stop pretending to be self-sufficient, we become open to receiving help, guidance, and grace. The miracle that comes later will not be a testament to our cleverness, but to God's faithfulness. Preparation also sharpens discernment. We learn to distinguish between noise and direction, between urgency and importance. God trains us to listen not only to what is loud, but to what is true. This discernment becomes essential when blessings arrive, for not every opportunity that accompanies success is meant to be embraced. A prepared soul knows how to say no as well as yes, guided by wisdom rather than impulse. Sometimes God prepares us by allowing us to fail in small ways so that we will not be destroyed by failure in larger ones. Failure, when met with humility, becomes a teacher rather than a verdict. It shows us where we rely too much on ourselves, where our motives need correction, where our methods require adjustment. These lessons, though uncomfortable, become safeguards in the season of blessing. Unexpected miracles often reveal how limited our perspective once was. What we thought was the main story turns out to be a subplot. What we believed was the obstacle was actually the pathway. God's preparation gently dismantles our certainty about how things must unfold. In doing so, he expands our trust. We learn that faith is not confidence in our predictions, but confidence in God's presence. There is also a quiet joy that begins to emerge during preparation, a joy not dependent on outcomes. It is the joy of knowing that one's life is held, guided, and purposeful, even when details remain unclear. This joy acts as an anchor, steadying us when circumstances fluctuate. It prepares us to receive miracles with gratitude rather than desperation. God often prepares us by teaching us to serve without recognition. In obscurity, motives are revealed. We discover whether we are willing to be faithful when no applause follows. This hidden faithfulness forms a character that can withstand visibility without being consumed by it. When blessing arrives and attention increases, the prepared soul remains grounded, remembering that worth was never dependent on approval. There are seasons when preparation involves letting go of identities we have outgrown. Roles that once defined us may no longer fit. God gently loosens our attachment to labels that limit growth. This can feel disorienting, like standing between who we were and who we are becoming. Yet this in-between space is fertile ground for transformation. The miracle, Eid, often requires a new understanding of self. God's preparation also touches our understanding of time. We learn that rushing rarely produces fruit that lasts. Slow growth, though less impressive, often proves more enduring. God is not impressed by speed, he values depth. In slowing us down, he ensures that what he builds will not collapse under pressure. Unexpected miracles remind us that God's generosity is not earned, though preparation is required. Preparation does not purchase blessing, it positions us to receive it. Grace remains grace, freely given, yet wisdom teaches us that capacity matters. God enlarges our capacity so that His gifts can be enjoyed rather than feared. There are moments in preparation when prayer feels like persistence without progress. Yet even repetitive prayers shape us. They clarify desire, expose doubt, and strengthen resolve. God listens not only to the words we speak, but to the posture from which we speak them. Over time, prayer becomes less about changing God's mind and more about aligning our hearts with His. God prepares us by reminding us that we are not alone. He places companions along the journey, sometimes for a season, sometimes for a lifetime. These relationships provide encouragement, correction, and perspective. Through them, God teaches us humility and interdependence. The miracle that comes may involve others in ways we could not have orchestrated ourselves. Preparation also involves learning to trust God's goodness when circumstances suggest otherwise. This trust is not blind optimism, but deliberate faith. It acknowledges pain without surrendering hope. It believes that God is at work even when evidence seems scarce. Such trust becomes the foundation upon which unexpected miracles can stand. There is a quiet resilience that develops as we endure preparation. We learn that disappointment does not have the power to destroy us. We survive setbacks and discover that our faith, though tested, remains intact. This resilience ensures that when blessing arrives, we will not crumble at the first challenge that follows it. God often prepares us by teaching us to rejoice in small victories. Gratitude trains the heart to recognize grace. Those who learn to celebrate small mercies are better equipped to steward great ones. Ingratitude narrows vision, gratitude expands it. The prepared heart sees God's hand everywhere. Unexpected miracles also invite us to reconsider our definition of success. God's success often looks different from cultural standards. It may prioritize faithfulness over fame, integrity over influence, depth over display. Preparation helps us align our values with God's, so that when success comes, it does not lead us away from what matters most. There is a tenderness God cultivates in preparation, a sensitivity to His leading. We learn to notice subtle nudges, gentle warnings, quiet encouragements. This sensitivity becomes invaluable in moments when quick decisions are required. The prepared soul recognizes God's voice amid competing demands. God prepares us by teaching us to endure mystery. Not everything is explained, and not every question is answered. Yet faith learns to live comfortably with mystery, trusting that understanding will come in time, if it is needed at all. This comfort with mystery frees us from anxiety and allows us to rest in God's sovereignty. As preparation continues, we often find that our prayers shift from when to who. We become less concerned with timing and more with becoming the kind of person who can reflect God's goodness in any season. This shift marks maturity. It signals readiness for whatever God chooses to give or withhold. Unexpected miracles, when they come, often reveal how carefully God has been arranging circumstances all along. What seemed like coincidence takes on new meaning. Past struggles reveal hidden purpose. We see connections we could not have drawn before. Preparation turns hindsight into worship. God's preparation also teaches us to hope without demanding guarantees. Hope becomes an act of trust rather than a contract. We place our expectations in God's character rather than in specific outcomes. This kind of hope remains alive even when plans change. There are moments when preparation feels endless, as though the waiting has no horizon. Yet God's timing, though hidden, is intentional. He is not experimenting, He is accomplishing. Each moment serves a purpose, even when that purpose remains unseen. As we continue forward, living within this tension between promise and fulfillment, we are invited to remain faithful in the ordinary, to love well, to work honestly, to pray sincerely, to trust deeply. These simple acts, repeated over time, form the quiet rhythm of preparation. And within that rhythm, something remarkable is taking shape. Something that will one day emerge not as a random stroke of luck, but as a carefully prepared gift, arriving at the precise moment. When your heart, shaped by patience, humility, and trust, is able to recognize it not merely as a miracle, but as a continuation of a story that has been unfolding all along, a story still moving forward, still opening, still drawing you toward what has been prepared ahead. But the nature of preparation is such that it often feels invisible. We may rise each day, perform the same tasks, face the same challenges, and yet sense that nothing extraordinary is occurring. But God's work is seldom ostentatious. It does not rely on spectacle or immediate recognition. Just as a gardener tends soil with patience and care long before any seedling appears, so God tends hearts, circumstances, and opportunities, preparing them for the moment when the miracle will no longer be hidden but revealed in its fullness. In these quiet hours, in these repetitive, mundane tasks, character is forged, trust is strengthened, and faith becomes capable of enduring what it once could not have imagined. The miracle that arrives later will not simply be a gift. It will be the natural outcome of a life carefully cultivated under divine guidance. One of the most remarkable aspects of divine preparation is the way it reshapes desire. Often, we pray for what we think we need, but God, in His infinite wisdom, understands the deeper needs of our soul better than we do. Through seasons of waiting, He teaches us to distinguish between fleeting wants and eternal necessities. What we once thought indispensable may lay insignificance when compared to the fullness of what He intends to provide. Unexpected miracles, when they arrive, have a way of satisfying not only our surface-level requests, but the deeper, unspoken longings of our hearts. They exceed expectation because God's perspective is wider than ours, and His generosity is deeper than we can comprehend. Preparation also involves cultivating attentiveness to the present moment. We are often so fixated on the future, on the miracle we hope will arrive, that we fail to notice the seeds being sown in our midst. Each interaction, each decision, each choice is part of a broader tapestry. God is working in ways both seen and unseen, orchestrating events, arranging circumstances, and aligning people, even when we are unaware. The miracle will not arrive in isolation. It is the culmination of countless small acts of faithfulness, humility, patience, and obedience that have built the foundation for its manifestation. There are times when preparation requires testing our persistence. The longer we must wait, the more our faith is refined. God allows resistance, disappointment, or seeming stagnation to reveal the depth of our trust. If faith can endure under pressure, it will not falter when abundance arrives. These periods of testing are not arbitrary. They are intentional shaping designed to ensure that the miracle is not squandered or mishandled. The miracle, like a vessel, requires a heart that has been shaped, refined, and strengthened. To carry it without breaking. A crucial aspect of preparation is learning to embrace uncertainty. Human beings are conditioned to desire control, predictability, and certainty. Yet God's ways rarely conform to our expectations. Unexpected miracles defy linear thinking, circumvent predictable sequences, and arrive in forms we might not anticipate. Preparation teaches us to trust the unseen, to rely on divine timing rather than our own schedules, and to hold our hopes loosely while remaining steadfast in faith. This paradox, holding on without gripping, hoping without demanding, becomes a hallmark of spiritual maturity. During preparation, God often asks us to confront illusions of self-sufficiency. We imagine that our success, our planning, or our effort alone will produce the outcomes we desire. Yet preparation strips away reliance on our own resources, exposing the necessity of dependence upon Him. It is in this vulnerability that the soul is molded. The miracle will arrive not because we have mastered circumstances, but because we have learned to surrender to the Master who governs them. Unexpected miracles frequently emerge in the intersection of preparation and obedience. God does not release blessings indiscriminately. He aligns provision with readiness. Obedience, sometimes small, sometimes difficult, serves as the conduit through which His grace flows. Each act of faithfulness, each moment of alignment with His will, strengthens the channels through which miracles are delivered. What may seem like insignificant decisions or minor acts of discipline are, in reality, essential components of the preparation process. Another dimension of preparation is the cultivation of gratitude. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessing, it is a condition for blessing to be fully received. When the heart is anchored in thankfulness, miracles are recognized not as isolated events, but as continuations of a faithful story. A prepared soul does not take for granted the smallest mercies, it celebrates them as evidence of God's ongoing care. In this way, preparation is not passive, it is active engagement in noticing, rejoicing, and cultivating the capacity to receive more. God's preparation also addresses the relational aspects of our lives. Blessings often intersect with community, relationships, and the well-being of others. Preparation may involve teaching us patience in dealing with others, sensitivity to needs, and discernment in forming connections. Unexpected miracles can impact not only us but also those around us, and God ensures that hearts are aligned, that motives are purified, and that the fruit of His provision is multiplied through wise stewardship. The miracle is seldom merely individual, it carries ripple effects that extend far beyond the immediate recipient. In preparation, God may also allow us to experience apparent limitations. These limitations are not punitive, they are formative. Confronting boundaries, whether material, emotional, or spiritual, teaches humility, reliance, and creativity. The miracle that comes later may circumvent these limitations in ways that astonish, yet it arrives most fruitfully in hearts that have already learned the lessons embedded in constraint. The apparent scarcity, the challenge, the obstacle, they all serve as tools in the divine shaping of readiness. An often overlooked aspect of preparation is the cultivation of hope. Hope is not passive, it is a deliberate act of expectation grounded in faith. God nourishes hope, even when circumstances are bleak, sustaining it through encouragement, subtle provision, and gentle reassurance. Hope becomes a companion during the waiting, a thread that binds the heart to God's promises. When the miracle arrives, it does so into a heart that has been taught not only to receive, but to rejoice without despairing, to celebrate without entitlement, and to trust without wavering. Preparation can also involve a refining of our perception of timing. We are often inclined to measure God's action by our own calendars, assuming that delays signal absence or oversight. Yet God operates outside the constraints of human time. What seems slow may be precisely the pace necessary for growth, alignment, and readiness. Seasons of delay are often seasons of preparation, carefully designed to ensure that the blessing will coincide with our capacity to steward it wisely. Timing is as much a part of the miracle as the miracle itself. God also prepares us by shaping our emotional and spiritual resilience. Life is unpredictable, and even blessings arrive with challenges. By building resilience, God ensures that when the unexpected unfolds, we do not falter, despair, or mismanage the opportunity. Resilience is cultivated through repeated exposure to trials, through perseverance under difficulty, and through the consistent practice of faithfulness in ordinary matters. The miracle, when it appears, meets a soul ready not only to receive, but to sustain, to protect, and to extend its impact. Unexpected miracles frequently reveal the interconnectedness of God's work in our lives. Preparation often involves unseen coordination, linking circumstances, people, and events in ways that are initially invisible. The miracle that seems sudden often rests on a network of divine orchestration spanning weeks, months, or years. Preparation aligns the heart to recognize these connections, to understand the divine intelligence behind the unfolding narrative, and to respond with gratitude and awe rather than casual acknowledgement. Furthermore, preparation often teaches discernment regarding the nature of blessing itself. Not every positive event is a true miracle, and not every opportunity is meant for our growth. God prepares us to distinguish between what will enrich our soul and what may derail it. Wisdom, cultivated during preparation, ensures that the miracle, when it arrives, will be fully embraced and integrated into a life that is ready for it. Without this discernment, even a genuine blessing could be misunderstood or misused. God's preparation also intersects with the development of patience, a quality increasingly rare in a world accustomed to immediacy. Patience is not mere passive waiting. It is active endurance, a steadfastness that continues in hope, faith, and trust despite the absence of visible results. The miracle that comes unexpectedly will often require a patience that has been long practiced, tested, and perfected. Without this cultivation, even the most joyous provision can feel overwhelming or ungraspable. Preparation also reshapes our understanding of identity. Unexpected miracles often challenge prior conceptions of self, revealing capacities, callings, or purposes we did not know existed. God's work in preparation ensures that we do not encounter these shifts unready, that our identity is rooted not in circumstance, but in the divine perspective, and that our response to blessing will reflect maturity, gratitude, and discernment. The miracle becomes a confirmation not only of God's goodness, but of the transformed heart that receives it. Seasons of preparation often involve training in endurance under uncertainty. We are taught to act faithfully even when outcomes are hidden, to love when affection is not returned, to hope when evidence is scarce. Endurance becomes the scaffolding upon which miracles can safely rest. Without it, blessings may arrive but be wasted, mishandled, or misunderstood. God shapes us in patience, perseverance, and faithfulness, so that the unexpected can be received with readiness rather than resistance. Unexpected miracles are also designed to deepen awe and reverence. When the extraordinary touches our lives after a season of careful preparation, it awakens a sense of wonder. We recognize that the source of provision is greater than our imagination, that the patterns of divine care surpass human comprehension, and that the God who orchestrates miracles is both intimately involved and sovereignly capable. Preparation ensures that the heart is able to respond with appropriate humility, gratitude, and devotion. Moreover, preparation often refines our capacity for empathy and generosity. A person who has endured waiting, limitation, and uncertainty is more capable of extending grace to others. Miracles, once received, are rarely meant to be hoarded. They are invitations to blessing others. God's preparation cultivates a heart that not only rejoices in personal provision, but also seeks to participate in the wider unfolding of His goodness. In this way, preparation is never merely persona. It is communal, shaping a soul capable of reflecting divine generosity in the world. The process of preparation, in essence, is the gradual alignment of heart, mind, and circumstance with divine intention. Each day, each challenge, each small act of obedience contributes to a readiness that may not be visible to the casual observer. By the time the miracle arrives, the recipient has been shaped in wisdom, tempered by patience, fortified in resilience, and cultivated in gratitude. The unexpected nature of the blessing is what magnifies its power, its joy, and its transformative effect. For a miracle that arrives precisely when the heart is prepared becomes an undeniable testament to God's careful, intentional, and loving work. And so, as we stand on the precipice of the unseen, let us remember that God's preparation is never in vain. Every moment of waiting, every trial endured, every quiet act of faith has been shaping us for the blessings that are yet to come. The unexpected miracles He promises are not random. They are the culmination of His careful, loving orchestration, designed to meet us exactly where we are and to elevate us to where we are meant to be. Let us embrace patience as a companion, trust as a guide, and hope as a light, knowing that what God has prepared for us is far greater than we could imagine, perfectly timed, and infinitely good. When the miracle arrives, may we recognize it, receive it with gratitude, and be forever mindful that the same God who prepared us so patiently continues to walk with us, guiding each step, shaping each heart, and revealing His wonders in ways that surpass our understanding.